Hey everybody, welcome to our little Zoom show. This is Say It Loud, brought to you by the Kind Clinic. What's up? Make some noise for Kind Clinic. My name is Jomar Valentin. I'm going to be your host this evening. I'm going to be that obnoxious voice that gets you back if, it needs to happen, but that's not going to happen because we've got some amazing, talented people in this lineup for you tonight. Again, welcome to Say It Loud. Thank you for joining us this evening. Say It Loud, again, brought to you by the Kind Clinic, in Central Texas. That is for the sexual health needs with focus on LGBTQIA peeps and the community. So let's talk a little bit more about that. I'm going to bring a person that is very, very close to the Kind Clinic, the face of the Kind Clinic, as we like to say. Everybody make some noise, make some noise, make some noise. Bring it up, give it up for Jeremy Teal.
Hey, everybody. And thanks so much, Jomar, for being our host tonight. I don't think you're going to be annoying. If anything, you're going to keep us all on point, which I appreciate very much. Thank you all so much for coming to our amazing, I think this is our first time doing something like this, a live art event. So looking forward to it. I also want to say thank you to all the artists for coming. Kind Clinic is a sexual health and wellness space here in Austin, Texas. And we also have an amazing new location in San Antonio, Texas, where we are happy to provide PrEP, PEP, HIV positive care, STI testing and treatment, as well as gender care services to anyone that seeks it. These locations are also equipped to do virtual appointments, which we are very happy to do, especially since we're kind of in the middle of a pandemic, which is mainly the reason we're not in a really cute cafe snapping our fingers together. So we're looking forward to having you in our spaces, but we're also looking forward to having you virtually because we want to make sure that everyone is staying healthy and safe and sane. So all that to say, if you all need anything, please make sure you reach out to us via our website, www.kindclinic.org. And while you're there, click on the contact link and sign up for our newsletter. That way you can stay on top of everything that we're going to be doing in the coming months. Also, you might get some tidbits on some fun things that'll be happening in the future for Kind Clinic and with Texas Health Action. Let's just say we're not done with Texas yet. Okay. So I'm going to turn it back over to Jomar. Again, thank you all for doing this. I hope you all have an amazing night, and I'll see you all at the very end of this.
Thank you so much, Jeremy, and everybody at Kind. I go to the Kind Clinic. I actually just had my Telekind appointment on Thursday, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about a show. Like Jeremy said, we are not done with Texas because we just got started 4 minutes ago, and we've already got a performer lined up. This is a very new format, our very first time doing something virtual like this. So wherever you are, on your couch, in a park, social distancing somewhere, make some noise, make all the noise. They are ready to say it loud. Give it up for our first performer, Jeaux Anderson Jr. Jeaux is a poet, performer, and more than anything, a storyteller. And as the creative director and founder of the Mahogany Project, Jeaux uses poetry, prose, and storytelling to recreate the experiences of Black queer individuals on stage. He recently completed the sold-out Love Jones series that explored love between a Black man that loves another Black man. Not only is Jeaux a storyteller, but works in the field of sexual health and uses his platform as a Texas HIV fellow and grantee to find innovative solutions to address HIV disparities. Are we ready? I hope you're doing this. I hope you're making some noise with your hands. I hope you're like toasting whoever you're sitting next to. Yeah. Give it up for Jeaux Anderson Jr.
Thank you so much, Jomar. I want to thank y'all to this event. This is the brainchild from me and Jeremy, and we just wanted to go out with a bang for Pride. And I'm back on the stage, honey. I got 3 pieces for y'all. The first piece I wrote the night or the night after the acquittal of George Zimmerman. And so I think it's really resonant right now and really timely. And so this is hunting season. It's hunting season. The floodgates are open. Guns are being locked and loaded and ready to aim. And these motherfuckers got a license to kill. Our communities are being robbed, ransacked, and raided of what is righteous, while the nation revels in Black bereavement. The police? The police are nothing but prejudicial pigs profiling prophets they perceive to be paupers. Bah! And just like that, a future is finished. A life is gone, and a family is forced to deal with a lifetime of what ifs, maybes, could have, should have. For us, there is no justice, just not guilty verdicts and heartbreaking acquittals, and I ask God why. Why does this continue to happen? I know nothing is in vain, but I'm tired of having to deal with the family's insatiable pain when I have a nephew, and Jaden is 16 years old. And Jaden has dreams and aspirations of going to school just like his dad. And Jaden, I worry and pray for his protection, because who's going to protect him from the police? But today we fight back. Today we declare our right to exist on this earth by any means necessary. It's hunting season, but we refuse to continue to be your prey. So welcome again. Just FYI, some of the pieces that the performers may do may be a little PG-13 up, so just a heads up. This next piece that I'm going to do is, I was at Rain one night, and this guy that was there, it was a white guy that was walking in, and I guess I bumped him, and I was like, oh, excuse me. And he was like, move out the way, you fat Black bitch. And if anyone knows me, they know like I was irate and I was ready to fight, but I was there with my man. And so this is what I wrote in thinking about that experience. You and I are not the same, Timothy. I worked twice as hard to get half as far for a fourth of what you have, leaving a legacy that's an eighth of the size of yours, and that's only if everything goes perfect. So yes, Trevor, I'm standing here with my Black man living my Black life, feeling blacker than the berry and sweeter than the juice that I got now, while you, pale, plain, full of plastic in your lips to look like mine. Plastic injected in your cheeks to feel like mine. Stealing a culture that tastes like mine. But I am sorry, Troy. You will never have enough seasoning on the bland, boring, banal bastion of whiteness. I'm so sorry, my dear, that Black don't crack, while you rush around and fix the crow's feet that sneak up on you at 27. So before you say anything, Thomas, before you come for me, check your privilege at the door, as if it's a coat, hang it up, while me and my Black man with my Black friends will continue to survive and thrive in the world that your ancestors, Todd, Taylor, Tyler, and Tate used and abused. You see, in the Olympics, the only sport your ancestors would win is colonialism. So Tim, Tucker, Tom, recognize that the next time you open your thin-lipped mouth to speak to me, the one that you called a fat Black bitch, remember that this fat Black bitch was born to the richness, birthed by a Black woman that you, Truman, Travis, Toby, try so hard to mock. Honor that I am born from a legacy of greatness, and that, my dear, is the tea. And so I wanted to, I'm sitting down because this next piece is solemn. I don't know, I want everyone to think, or sorry if it's shaking, I just hit the table. I want everyone to think of the one ex that changed your life for a good way, like that one. I want you to think about it, think hard. Hopefully it's still the one that you with, and it's really not an ex, but it's a partner that you really love, and y'all are still together. I'm hoping that, but if not, go the other direction, I'm telling you to. So I wrote this piece about that one person for me. What do you say to the one who broke your heart? What do you say to the man that you gave everything to, the one that you risked it all for? What do you say when you're face to face with the face of those beautiful brown eyes that you grew to love? But here I am at a crawfish boil on a midsummer night while my friend is crying and drunk at 10 p.m. with a vodka water in my hand, 2 limes, 1 lemon. And the man that I love more than I loved life itself walks in. The man who I gave pieces of myself that I will never get back walks in. And I'm wondering, am I really over him? Do I still love him? Years have passed and the distance has grown between us, but our connection is the elephant in the room. Our chemistry is apparent. What do you say? How do you feel? And for a moment, I'm taken back in time to a time when all I wanted to do was spend time with you, watch volleyball matches, stay up for hours and vibe, be cool, calm, but never collected. Seeing you transfers me back to the first time I saw you, when you were wearing baby blue, and 425 was the location, and that ass was the message that I received. I'm taken back in time to a time when I told you that my mom was sick, and it was in your arms that tears ran down my face, and you rocked me to sleep, telling me that it was going to be okay. I'm taken back in time to when dreams I'd devised, hopes I'd held on to, and wishes of once of us together, I gave you my love. What do you say to the one who ripped out your heart? Do you remind them of the time that they told you that time was up and that they no longer had time to be with you? Do you remind them of Brandon? Do you remind them of midnight on your birthday, standing on the stoop under the light of the stars when they told you that they loved someone else? I saw a future with you, but that was nothing more than dashed dreams and a never-ending nightmare. I wanted my last next to his first. I wanted kids, a white picket fence. It's 10 p.m. And I'm standing, sipping the vodka water in my hand, and I'm standing right in front of him, nervous, because I don't know what I'm going to say. And I don't know what I'm going to do. And he's looking at me, not knowing what I'm going to do. My friend that was crying, drunk, is staring at the two of us, not knowing what's going to happen. Hell, not even God herself knows what I'm about to do. What do you say to the one who broke your heart? The one who unknowingly embedded insecurities into your spirit, broke your soul, and treated you like trash on the street. It's 10 p.m. and we're under the light of the stars. Your eyes are staring into my eyes are staring into your eyes, both full of curiosity and surprise. I'm staring at the man who I know like the back of my own hand. The man I know better than I know my own self. I'm staring at my past. And finally, I feel like the lock of love he placed on me is broken, unlocked. I finally feel like I can walk away. I see Joe, I see love, but more importantly, I see my own light. And I can appreciate Joe so much more for what he overcame. I no longer see a failure, I see clarity. What do you say to the one who broke you? Thank you for setting me free. Thank you so much. Yay.
What's up, Joe Anderson Jr.? How you doing? How
I'm
you
good. I'm good.
Yes.
I feel really good.
Yes.
It's weird to do this. Full disclosure, real tea, but I feel good. Happy I went first.
You look good. You sounded good. Everybody make some noise for Joe Anderson Jr. Yes. You know that. So tell us what you're doing. What other projects are going on with you? Where else can we see, hear, read your work? Tell us about it.
Yeah. So on the kind side, we have, like Jeremy said, a lot more events coming up. So feel free to go to our website and sign up for our listserv so you can find out about the amazing things we have coming up. And for the community work I do, we got a grant with the state. And so we're about to start production on the 7th volume of the Mahogany Project. It will be a little bit different with everything going on, but it will still be at the core of it, stories about Black queer people, and that should come out this fall. And so the name of the show is called Legacy.
Amazing. All right. Well, then we'll see you.
Bye.
Everybody. Each of these performers is going to have a Venmo link at the bottom of their screens. So if you're feeling generous, you're feeling generous. All right. Okay. We are ready for our next performer. Now, this young lady is very, very, very very close to my own heart. She is a performer at the local Austin Poetry Slam. She started coming in 2017 and was a member of Austin Poetry Slam. Is a member of the Austin Poetry Slam board. Was a member of the Outdoor Voices Poetry team in 2018. They competed in a regional tournament called the Southern Fried Poetry Slam, where their team placed in the top 10 in the nation, the region. It's kind of a big deal. This poet, her name is Moira. Amazing, amazing, amazing poet. She was also the co-writer of a very, very, very good Frontera Fest show called Please Stay. She's got amazing hair. She's got fantastic fashion. She's hella funny. So I hope you're ready. Coming right up to your screens as soon as she is ready. And you are making noise. If you're not making noise, she can't hear you. She don't know. So Moira, calling up to the screen. Give it up. Give it up whenever she is ready. Give it up for Moira!
Hey, Jomar. Thank you so much for the introduction. And like, seriously, thank the organizers for this and for Kind Clinic for putting this on. This is like an incredible showcase, and I feel very lucky to be a part of this. You might hear my cat yelling at me in the background. Anyways. So this first piece that I'm gonna jump into is, This first piece that I'm gonna jump into is just kind of like exploring the experiences of like being an activist and being poor and knowing a lot of other people who are poor and just, yeah. I guess it's kind of like a personal polemic against capitalism. So anyways. Beep, beep. Please remove unexpected item from baggage area. It took the creators of self-checkout machines months to work out this phrase, trying to find the perfect balance between don't steal that and pay attention to what you're putting down. And in this moment, I can't decide if this is an act of kindness or robotic passive aggression, and I am starting to panic. Like this machine is the watchful eye of God, wishing it could spew Old Testament flames for all the times this wasn't an accident. I have a friend who rings up all his groceries as bananas. He has the code memorized, and it's funny to imagine the confused manager, all the missing bananas. It's less funny to consider how long he took to memorize that code. How many nights he went hungry before swallowing that series of numbers, each sour on its way down, worse coming back up, an inadequate offering to a machine god. And did you know you could buy fish medication on Amazon? That there was a listing for fish amoxicillin with thousands of reviews, variations of works great. My fish got bronchitis before starting a new job and couldn't go to the doctor, so he bought these, took 2 a day, and went to work. And the reviews leave a lot out, like, and went to work, and went to work, and didn't die at work like a good American, so now my fish has to pay rent, so no fish dentist appointment. Hopefully this isn't a root canal. My fish has 2 friends who went to the hospital with inflamed root canals. My fish's dad went into a coma because of an untreated infection. They still work, though. Everyone still works. It's the only thing we know how to do here. Doctors are for people, and the poor are just fish, and swimming and drowning feel the same until they don't. And fish can't leave the water. And ain't it funny how a place can hold you? How it never matters how much you want to leave if you don't have the money to do it. How you can help a coworker move out of her home in an hour because her boyfriend had a temper and a gun, but it won't be 3 months before you know someone else who doesn't have an hour or a place to run, and the months on her lease rattle around to fill the chamber of her boyfriend's temper. How her rent is almost as heavy as his gun. Holy metal ghost. How many stories like this ricochet off your ears? Cold steel savior, how many fires start in your name? Or why do so many people burn in your name? Why does power always smell like death? My friends are so full of grief, so heavy it turns their belly to coal. And this whole world is built on their grief, on their bodies. And one day there is going to be a spark that works its way down. And that Grief burns like 1,000-mile coal line, burns under the surface. So now we talk up a storm like Old Testament desert, teeth full of dirt, eyes swirled fury. These bellies full of flame are ready to swallow the earth and start over. God, the most beautiful psalm was one night in Chicago, linked arms with 100 people around a school to keep the cops out while teachers kept it open. God, I still remember the words to those prayers. I liked them better. They taste good going down, taste like a better world as they pour back out. And one day we are going to sing these songs in the ashes of the past, and it is going to be so holy. So they said that we were allowed to curse. So here's like a very explicit middle portion of my set. Farewell, an ode to the end of my penis. Dick. Richard? Dick. I know some people name their dicks, but you never told me yours, or I didn't bother to listen, or I don't know, naming your dick just seems weird. Anyways, Richard, I know this probably feels like betrayal, but it's not like we were close. I mean, sure, you taught me some like pretty valuable lessons, like nothing lasts forever, and some things never last, so you probably should just get better at foreplay. But there was always something keeping us distant, a bridge I could not cross. You always seemed indifferent, or maybe I was indifferent, or I'm sorry, but I never loved you. I just couldn't. And this body makes an uneasy bridge. Always feels like it is missing foundation, missing feeling home. Richard, I know you think these are excuses, that really I am just tired of tucking. And I am. But the real problem is that you came with expectations, a steel box I had to crush myself into, meant to be strong. Don't let anyone question your strength. Break things, break people, break yourself. Don't break down. That's weakness. Meant to not cry. Swallow those tears until they spite and bile. Fester your emotions toxic. Meant to hate yourself. Take it out on everyone around you. Learn to talk about women as if they don't matter. Learn to hate women. Pretend this is not what you were doing. Learn to make this lie a coffin. There are things that aren't meant for you. Softness is not for you. Joy is not a good look. Anger, that fits like a chest plate. Wear your anger as death mask. Violence is never the answer until it is, and it always ends. Wear your health safe hate as brass knuckles. Beat your body senseless. Smash your soul until it is manhood. Don't cry. Swallow everything but pride. Spew your anger. Crush yourself smaller and smaller until you die in this box. Die ugly. Swallow everything that isn't anger. Wash it down with bleach, or splatter everything you've ever felt onto the ceiling. Your soul is too ugly to be art. The only gallery it deserves is these abstract stains on the carpet. Richard, I am finally building a home I feel safe in, and you are a ghost. A box of ashes from a life that isn't mine. I know this probably feels like abandoned. Like I am running away again. And I am. But this time I know where I am going. Every footfall feels like foundation, like joy, all beautiful and unkempt. Like there is strength in crying and caring. Like my soul no longer needs to hide. So those two are heavy. So I'm gonna do like a funny one real quick. But it's also dirty. So. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna like back up and talk about this one real quick. I actually wrote this at an erotic slam, like in the audience, the erotic slam, because like if you've never been to an erotic slam, just imagine like a bunch of people reading bad OkCupid profiles and like then also reading the messages those profiles send, and that is an erotic slam. So I'm sitting in an erotic slam listening to the fourth poem in a row where a man describes his ability to fuck someone better than anyone else. Only this man's dick is a bulldozer, where the last one was a plumbing snake, and the next will be some other violent or uncomfortable thing. And he describes the imaginary woman he is with as being broken. He says he will eat her out so well she'll be lost. He thinks lost and broken is sexy. He thinks this is what a woman wants to hear. So, a moratorium. I don't want to hear your erotic poem unless it is beautiful or gay. Like, if you describe your partner as something to fuck instead of a human fucking being, you're not allowed to write erotic poems. And I don't care how good you think you are on page or in bed. Like, no one cares how good you think you are. I do not want to hear about your tongue and the things you think you can do with it. I want to hear about how your partner's touch is soft rain, trickling down your skin, carving goosebump canyons. I want to hear how you look in their eyes and find a home. I don't want to hear about what you want to do. I want to hear about what your partner wants, not what you think they want. I want to hear about the conversation where they told you how to hold them, told you where to touch their shoulders, told you about the most sensitive parts of their soul. I want to hear what they asked you to refrain from, the ways that they asked you to be soft. Or I want to hear about your transgressive queer love. How the way you fuck calls the world into question, is glimpses of the future, is the way things could be. I want to hear about the first time you loved outside of the closet, the way you held each other safe, the way your bed felt like the best part of Pride, felt like open, refused to be forgotten, living. If you were going to write an erotic poem, I don't want to hear you masturbate on stage. Like, all your heteronormative poems about fucking sound like masturbating on stage. Go to a leather club if you want to masturbate on stage. Like, everyone has a kink, it's fine. But you keep confusing your kink for what the rest of us want to hear. And I really don't want to hear about anyone's cum unless it is buried so beautifully in metaphor that I can't tell you're talking about cum, because that's just like a lot. And please don't tell me about your partner's genitals. Please tell me about their laugh, or the things they are passionate about, or tell me about anything other than their chest or their junk. Unless you're queer. Then tell me about your partner's chest and the heartbeat it holds. Speak so openly about your partner's junk that the audience is uncomfortable. Make this heteronormative world confront the reality of both of your bodies and the beauty of the things you do together. And we see straight sex everywhere. Beautiful and ugly and so very normal. But I want to see queer sex celebrated. I want queerness to be in this straight world's face until we are no longer strange or sinful or target. I want an erotic slam that's beautiful, where bodies are not broken, where queerness is not lost, where all of us are here and heard, and the things we do are as beautiful and varied and holy as we are. Yeah. Could I honestly have no time, like no concept of what time it is. Do I have enough? Could I fit like one more in? Is that okay? Cool, thank you, Jeff. So this is probably like the oldest poem that I still perform. I actually wrote it starting my transition. And so it's just kind of that, I don't know, that like experience of realizing you're queer when you're older and then looking back at all the things you did when you were younger and being like, ah, fuck, those were like gay feelings. Yeah, so that's this poem. My cat is super weird, see. Sometimes she'll start this low rumbling growl, and it grows and grows until it is the kind of thing you hear in a horror movie, like the kind of sound the family pet makes to scare away something evil, and then she attacks her tail. And I wonder how it is the body learns to hate itself like that. I first bought makeup for a play. They got to see your eyes, my director said, so I stood confused in the aisle until a woman asked if I needed help, and I explained it away with all that acting I learn in a powder room. But I get ready for big performances in a gas station bathroom, fluorescent temples to true self or true enough. The first pair of heels I bought were conservative. They were plain, silver, no more than 3 inches. They lived in a bag hidden in my trunk. A friend told me to wear them around the house to get used to them. Practice until you aren't afraid to fall, but I never practiced much, so I keep them in that trunk for safekeeping, keep my fear of falling there as well. My first purse was hideous. It's black, kitschy, newspaper print, New York skyline. 1,000-mile away skyline, beacon for everywhere but here. My father hit me that night. threw me against the wall by my neck, tore the headlines out of my hand. Something about not me, something about ruining things, something about something I don't remember. My head shuts off sometimes, blinds down, curtains drawn, sleep through the day, wake up at 3, wonder why it is still dark outside. My eyes are a casino, always willing to... My eyes, I'm sorry, are a casino... My skull is a casino like that. My eyes are slot machines willing to spit quarters that never seem to pay for much. And I bought a dress once. I sold most of my comic book collection to do it. The past is the past, and if you want, you can just pawn it. The dress was mustard with a white floral print. And I put it on, and I looked in the mirror, and have I told you about how I like flowers yet? Flowers are pretty, and I think simple things are nice, and flowers are pretty and simple right up until you try to grow them yourself, and that's when you realize like you don't know a goddamn thing about flowers, and so you find yourself standing in front of an upturned pot covered in dirt. Or is that an ugly dress? Or is that a beautiful dress and an ugly person staring back at you in the mirror as you realize you didn't get to choose, so you aren't a woman, just a sad person in a dress, and you water your cheeks and hope something new will grow here. The unwelcome from the home that you built live, and the hollowed out bones of the life you had, until your skin starts crawling and you see the first skyline for anywhere but here. Drive 198 miles and start over. My friends have this patch of flowers on the side of their house. And flowers are simple. When you find the right soil, it's dirt, bone dust, they will bloom all on their own, stretch out softly, velvet skin petals full of bold, beautiful color. Yeah, I just want to thank everyone again for putting this on. Like Kind Clinic, this is incredible. I'm super looking forward to hearing everyone else. Yeah.
Thank you, Moira. It's great to see you, hon. How are you?
I got fired for unionizing my workplace. When they tell you to care about your coworkers, they mean like put their birthdays in a spreadsheet, not like advocate for them when they stop paying them. Like, how was I supposed to?
Well, I hope you took all the birthday cake when you left.
Oh, well, thank you.
All of it. Use the plastics to paint that beautiful tapestry you've got going on behind you. Can we meet your cat real quick? Is that a weird ask?
Yeah.
Since, they were cameoing their voice throughout the whole time.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry. I'm making you do a lot.
Okay, so it says, why be racist, sexist, homophobic, or transphobic when you could just be quiet?
Yeah, and wear a mask.
Yeah, and here is Freya.
What's up, kitty? Hello. All right, where else can we see your work? Can we get some merchies?
I have literally all that good stuff. You should support all of the other poets, and also come to APS when we do that again, and also the live streams on like every Tuesday.
Yeah. So maybe we'll see you there later. All right. All right. Thank you so much, Moira, for joining us and sharing that work. Everybody give her a hand. Yeah. Yes. How are we doing, everybody? We got air. We're breathing. We're okay. Good. We got another poet coming your way. But first, if you have not registered for this event yet, please head on over to the Kind Clinic Facebook page. Look for Say It Loud. Make sure you register on the Eventbrite as a guest. So that way we can turn around and tell the people who made this possible, be like, hey, look at all these people who attended. Look at all these people who attended, because they like the show. They like the stuff. They want to see it again. And you're really helping us out. You're helping out Kind. You're helping out Say It Loud by letting us tell the people with the monies that these events, even though they are remote and virtual, are important, and people are coming in and supporting, and they want to see this, they want to be a part of it. So help us bring these kinds of events back by logging onto that Facebook, going to the Say It Loud event and registering on the Eventbrite, and then just come back and join us again. All right? Yes. All right. If you've got a little drinky with you, I've got my my wonderful hydro dioxide here to lubricate, because we've got some more performers coming. I hope you are ready. I hope you are ready. Coming up next, we have Jesus I. Valles, who is a queer Mexican immigrant writer performer from the city Juarez in Mexico and El Paso, Texas. Jesus is a 2019 Lambda Literary Fellow, a 2019 Fellow of the Sewanee Writers Conference, a 2018 Undocupoets Fellow. Y'all, there's a lot of credentials on here. I'm going to read it all because it's freaking badass.
You don't have to.
I don't have to. All right.
That's okay. I did some things. I wrote some things.
How you doing? How you doing? She said, cut it off. I'm ready to perform. You ready? All right, take it away.
I just get shy about all that stuff. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me. But I appreciate your time, Jomar. So I want to start off by just reading this this poem that I wrote because so if the bio indicated anything, I did a bunch of writers conferences, and like one of the things that I found out real quickly is that white women at the conference are always really interested in like what you're doing there. Specifically, like there's a very specific type of like person in their like 40s to 50s, like yoga Karen, with a lot of turquoise chunky jewelry, who's like, oh my God, you're so interesting. Where are you from? So this first poem is called And Jesus, Where is Home for You? Because it just gets asked all the time. Yeah. And Jesus, where is home for you? Is a place question I only have time answers for. And time is a question of everybody left that place, is a lie because there are still those we left. Is a Chinese exclusionary act becomes a blueprint for the hurt. How to best turn a people into a plague. Is years later, Ronald Reagan signs a Simpson-Mazzoli Act. Is Haitian blood shut out. Is 3 million people seen visas. Is a pregnant mommy, swole, fat rose cheek lady, is a belly full of promise. Is a promised green card? Is a bridge crossed? Is a bridge burnt when she births the paper baby in Juarez? Is a Mexican and illegally crossed baby is a wetback if it can't make that pretty mouth sound? Is a tongue-shaped coup and all the little teeth is a way to pass the time, which is a place? Is a 1996 Clinton hand signing a law? Is the Legal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act is a pinche mamada? Is another way to say you are not welcome. Is another way to pass the time. Is another way to say you are not welcome here. Is a brutal brick in Obama's Dream Act. Is another way to say wait, just wait, just wait. Is another way to say no, not them. We meant the good ones. Is we couldn't all go to Abuelito's funeral. Sin papeles, death is like that. Is sometimes all I want to do is die too. Is the spirit of the law means all that parchment is haunted. Is a ghost is the only way we can get in or out. Is it would be some bullshit if the next life had checkpoints too. Is the one thing I hated about Coco and Beetlejuice is even the dead can't avoid bureaucracy. And is the refusal of any God that asks for proof I lived a sin. Is a notice to appear, is an order for deportation, is an executive order, and an executive order is a way to kill a people whose only home is a time, is a way of saying it might be best to ask me, when is home for you? And I would show you every ugly time thing living inside me. So that's the first one. Yeah, and I wrote that just because I'm also like, I get real tired of people being like, this is so important now more than ever. And I'm like, yeah, it's been happening. So like what is this now more than ever that y'all are talking about? This next piece, I've actually never read it aloud. So this is this is new shit that I'm offering up tonight. I experienced sexual assault.
New shit.
New shit, indeed. and I have a lot of
I have a lot of problems sometimes with like that sort of like survivor slash victim sort of binary that we end up getting put into. So this is a poem inspired by the story of Ganymede, who was kidnapped by Zeus, and people always like love to tell that story, and I'm like, yeah, that's a story about us all. So like, how are we talking about this? So it's called Unravel Ganymede. Unravel Ganymede. Zeus descends an eagled, hungry fucking, dick-taloned for soft meat, a just stewed boy, a steward for his cup. Zeus thinks, and like that, just like that, a history of me, of taking. Ganymede was beautiful, so his taking was just, is the logic. So is the logic that I too was beautiful, even if during he called me fat and meant ugly. If he killed, and he called every killing bright thing in me fucking. Let many men tell it and lose yourself in the names. Was it Tantalus or Minos or Zeus draped in flesh? I do not know his name. I couldn't see the feathers. Where did it happen? A hotel room in Round Rock? Conjecture of compensation. Hermes brought horses to Ganymede's grieving father. Tros was told his boy was now a dazzling maid of burning pinpricks in the sky's skin. Aquarius. I wished myself burning too. Ganymede's face was beaten into mosaics. His taking told pulchritudinous, sentimental, more a tribute to the way a soft thing can be ripped, like pinning a monarch to a mattress and plucking out only one wing. To take the boy down from the stars, to unwrite his taking, would be to stop the poem somewhere. Here, give the pen to Ganymede. Pray his fist, fast, tight, here, plunge the sharp of the pen into the give of the eagle's throat until the feel of that man's breath fights back against the steady hand until the rapist dies from history to here. The pen sops up his blood. His hand disappears from inside me. Oh, miracle. The pen slurps his bone and skin until it is gone, until he is nothing. And I never take a taxi to a hotel room in Round Rock, and his friend never takes his knee to my back and pins my shoulders to the bed. And Zeus never rapes the boy, so there is no precedent in history or art for what was done to my body. And later that day, instead of a quiet bus ride home and my bleeding, there is gelato. And the red letters of digital clocks never remind me of the only things I could see from the floor in the dark when he was done. Here, Ganymede wrestles the eagle before they make it onto Olympus and drives death into him. To unwrite this would mean to kill a god and instead worship nothing but my own will. Here, let me make quick work of this story. Give me the pen. So that's that one. I'm gonna do two more and then I'm gonna shut up because Ebony Stewart is up next, and that's just like everything I want. So so this poem I wrote, and I performed this one quite a bit, and I'm gonna do it anyway just because. So this poem I wrote because I have an ex who brought me to Austin, and I'm thankful for that because I met a lot of tremendous artists. I don't think if I hadn't moved to Austin, I don't think I'd be writing at all or performing. But we broke up, and it was rough for me. I was in my feelings a lot, but that's okay because sometimes people come into your lives to ruin it, and then you learn something from that. I think that's the way to justify sometimes some fucked up shit, but whatever. Okay, so this is Gosel to Patrick, and I name him because if you wanted to be written about better, you should have done better. Gosel to Patrick. Split lip sizzle of eating your heart whole, God, the gate of my red mouth. I pled for fist kiss on my chest, trailer park wall hole we left, your bled mouth. I loved you, wild beast, brute best, bourbon, Bukowski, baritone, blue songs strung through my hair, your fingers playing small gods on my neck, head, mouth. I begged, Colossus boy, erect sculptures of yourself in every hollow of my body. Look at your wreckage, amor, and drink and eat of me wine, spittle, and bread mouth. Next, your ram batter, your axe grind, and I with no limbs to lust, to keep myself would offer to lay open and be cut through until every language left my lead mouth. Once, you laughed when your thrust struck speech from my throat, and I laughed after every way you ended worry, loved the door through which you led, mouth. I would sleep, one ear mindful of your movement, glow of your phone, end of us on my wall, my Lot's wife shadow play, your salt on my tongue, my bread mouth. You kept other lovers, a cloth you should have cleared before our contract. Jesus, I'm sorry. I'm not. Pack a bag with all the things you've killed. First, my dead mouth. So that's a poem for him, and I hope he's doing well and thriving and just having a really good time. Because he deserves it. Everyone deserves to be happy. Cool. I'm gonna read one last poem. It's a poem I call a thirst trap. I wrote it for this boy that I had a crush on. And it was real cute or whatever, and like I was like, I wrote this poem for you, man. And nothing happened and nothing ever came of it. But I read this poem often whenever I'm asked to come to, like, oh, hey, we want to do like a forum on immigration. Can you come read poems? Which sometimes is code for, can you come cry at our fundraiser so that, like, you know, people will feel good about themselves? And I'm like, cool. So I almost always finish out a set with this poem because it's about sucking dick. And I think that to be queer and an immigrant in this country sometimes means that your story is only worth anything if someone can make money off of your tears. So I like to end with desire because I think we also deserve to have the things we want. And sometimes that's a little dick. I know y'all said PG-13, but I mean, like, people are out here watching Euphoria, so whatever. Okay. It's named after my favorite flavor of Gatorade. So, Gatorade, pepino y limon. Your scent makes my mouth crave itself, becoming the bank where you run before you empty. Worse, it makes me write about you or myself as a river, which I only know platonically as a way out of a country. So now I'm a Mexican writing about becoming a river, or being a river, or wanting water from you, or wanting you to drain into me explicitly, to have you come in my mouth. Specifically, to lose my head to you. Make your thighs a guillotine for me until I can't remember any smell that isn't you. Ending. Anyway, I was saying I was a river or the bank of one. God, I'm thirsting. And I love the word tributary. I put 2 Gatorades outside your door. Pepino y limon. Because you were sick. A tribute to summers you've likely spent like me. Chubby and boy and tajin, remember? Anyway, how could I not crave something like you? Hungry for your mama's boy's sweet smile, your eyes always some cute distant, and the uniform, fuck. Basketball shorts and a white t-shirt last night. And how could I resist running to you? If you smell like every place my world began. And that's the poem that I like to end Black Tie Affairs with, because I love ruining a charity dinner. Thank you all so much for having me. This has been really, really incredible.
Yes.
I really, really appreciate y'all.
Yes. That was so good. You said, all right, so after like the last one, because I thought that was going to be the last one, and then there was another one, I was going to be like, typing this comment to you and probably be like, she said that shit. But one of your first poems, you said, when is home for you? And
Yeah.
I think that resonates with a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's a different way of thinking about home and place. And thank you for everything, Jesus.
Yeah, thank you for hosting. You're incredible.
I have a request of you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Yola Gengar.
Right? Yeah.
We need to be pogo buddies, yeah.
Featured, I'm down.
Yes!
Too down.
Listen, I hit level 40 during the pandemic. A lot of walks with the dogs.
That's the new bar.
I wasn't
That's the
the
new
very
bar.
best, all right?
Yes. Like no one ever was.
Like no one ever was. No one, except every poet on this freaking show. Y'all are amazing. Yes. Thank you so much, Jesus. All right, y'all having a good time? I hope so. If you are not, you're probably not watching this show. I'm just gonna call it out right now. Yeah. How y'all doing? Everybody okay? Everybody good? Give a hand to that last poet, please, and thank you. Woo! I have not wooed in so very long because it's bizarre to woo in your own house. And it freaks the dogs out. That's it. Are y'all ready for the next poet? Because I am. Yes. The next poet is, she is from all over, but when I met her, she was in Austin, Texas. So I am very glad to have met this person. Her name is Ebony Stewart. You've seen her name in so many poetry flyers. She's written one-woman shows. She has won the Woman of the World Poetry Slam. She tours the country. She recently was on a British podcast. It's amazing. She's wearing really fantastic earrings today. She is a really good friend. She is a big sister. She is a dog mom. She likes to eat cupcakes. Don't bring yours around her unless you brought a second one for you that is smaller, because she's going to take the bigger one. It's real. Don't test her. And look at that background. Look at that background. Yeah, she came prepared, and we're all just here in our houses. What's up, everybody? Make some noise. Make some noise. Make some noise. Bring her into your screens. Give it up for Ebony Stewart.
Thank you so much, Jomar. I love you, dog. Yo, I just want to say thank you to Kind Clinic, especially to Jeaux for inviting me and having us all here. It really means a lot to me. I haven't felt like my work has necessarily done enough. And so in this time, it's really important for me to be reminded. This is also the last day of Pride Month, though we know that Pride exists always, right, within our hearts and just in our person. But I want to make sure that I say that the first two poems that I'm going to share with you all is based or off of me being a Black woman and also being a part of the LGBTQ plus community, right? So just so we get that out of the way, Sugarfoots, just so we get that out of the way. But also, like, especially Black trans women and girls, that's really important to me. And so I want to just make sure to say that. And then the last poem, I'll bring you all in and bring us all together, because more than anything, we are human. So no matter what you saw first, whether it was my gender or the color of my skin, you definitely saw that I am human, right? So one thing that I like to do is, contrary to popular belief of what anybody had once thought or mistaken, right? A lot of people, especially in the Black community, but a lot of people who are a part of, who are gay or queer, whatever, also are religious, right? And so I like to personally flip different types of artifacts that have pushed us out and pushed us away, and bring us in and show us the gods that we actually are, right? And one of those artifacts is the Bible. And so anybody who's gonna get offended about this or the way that I choose to do my work, yo, sign out right now. Okay, Sugarfoot. But then also I just wanna keep it funky that God is love, you know what I mean? So don't contradict yourselves, yeah? But I wanna do this poem called Pray Tell Them to kick us off, to pay homage to Black women, to Black trans women, God themselves, yeah? In this version of our Lord, God comes back as a dark-skinned, fat Black woman who wear box braids, lace fronts, and melanin leave you shook. When I say she dark-skinned, I mean she can't pass and don't want to. I mean she walked into a room and everybody bowed instead of devoured that which is exotic. Because in this version, dark skin actually means power, means royal and beloved, means lead role, lead singer, and more than just a few. So all the other dark-skinned girls get to see themselves first in original people. Call a god, I say it 3 times in the mirror, and I get to worship myself when I say she fat. I mean, she grew outside of your comfort zone, a stereotype, found a motherfucker to fan and feed her in the summer, and you gonna get whatever body she giving. I mean, if he die, then he die. And if he won't fuck her midday, then his ass gonna freeze in the winter. I mean, shrinking is something she won't even consider. I mean, her mouth be bigger than her stomach, and she can do more with it than send your food back. She be a meal and a snack. Because in this version, God is not confident just because you noticed. In this version of the Holy Trinity, Jesus is transgender, Black woman and savior. I mean, who else's gospel can turn colloquial? I mean, who else can identify as she or they and still be othered? Because who else can be praised, imitated, excluded, or underrepresented? I mean, who gives a fuck about respect as long as gay white men get to gentrify it? She be beheaded, gunned down, and stoned. Everyone who wanted her dead called it a drop, but let's just say she spun around so hard, so dramatic, soft, and slow, she became the master of resurrecting on ballroom floors and moonlight waters. Because she can afford herself and still not be free. I mean, sticks and stones could break her bones, but a brick could start a riot, and there goes Jesus again. Always turning turmoil into a celebration, tested but still holding fast to what's good, and heaven is how high a queen sits. We glow our hands up, voguing Black queer culture into the Holy Spirit, how we see ourselves well, because only Black folks can behold the Holy Spirit that speaks truth to power and live without dwelling ahead of our time. I mean, who else gonna shine? Be shedding, being, and keeping the light. God is everywhere, in and of everything. I mean, pray tell it. God is love, right? So you can go ahead and thank the Holy Spirit, that which is Black and gay, knowing and believing nothing moves without us. That's a thing right there. Cool. And just keeping it moving, right? As a Black woman, it's really important to me to always acknowledge us, and just the way that, like, Black women are the blueprint, right? Whether anybody wants to admit that or not, I don't care. You go lie to someone else about your problems. But it is my belief, and many of others' beliefs, that is actually fact, that Black women are the blueprint. And so I want to make sure that I acknowledge Black women as a way to acknowledge myself. I want to make sure to help us to feel seen, especially when we have times like in this particular moment, right? We think back, or even the current climate is like there's protests going on about George Floyd, right? And what we did for Breonna Taylor is we turned her into a meme. And I'm curious if the reason why we did that is because there was no video footage. I don't know. I'm still waiting on the answers for it. I mean, somebody will give it to me, I'm sure. But I'm assuming that that's a part of it, right? But yo, again, I'm not sure if my poems have been doing enough, because I haven't been able to keep cops from killing Black people. Haven't been able to protect my sisters, yeah? So I just want to do this for Black women, especially. I want to acknowledge, say her name, and me too. And I want to also just like shed some light, yeah? It's called Punk Noir. So me and all my badass walk into a bar, a club, a runway, or just any day, and I got my grunge turned up. Got on all Black everything, including my skin, but make no mistake, I look good in anything, because all my amazing popped into Bantu, or bald, or Mohawk. I'm so punk rock, I got dreads for the dreaded. Sister curls on swirl, but underneath it all, my nature be natural. Star-studded, spiked, and a boss bitch for anybody who want to try me. I'm just saying, I'm so hardcore, I get to be a Black woman, marching through this life, swimming through this pain, even while restrained, I'll reclaim. Hold me down long enough and I'll figure out how to turn these chains into a crown, bust it down and make sure it fit a Black woman aesthetic. Magic be my heritage with an unabashed identity. Call me the middle passage guru, DIY queen, yes, honey. No matter if it be fashion, music, art, or this body, there ain't an idea you can have without me. Bush and tribe, the hive, the way we move and keep moving, non-conforming, proper and hood. It's a dichotomy, but you're the only one that's confused. Made a way out of no way. Broke the glass, now the ceiling gone. You want to act like a Black woman didn't do it, haven't done it, and don't continue to school you. I made a subject out of myself. So even when they try to stop me, copy, or erase me, I reboot a futuristic somebody and still stay the same. Touched and untouchable, boxed and bothered, vibrant and unsettled, persistent, pierced, punk and resisting. I got all this power I can't use. Made all these impressions, but somehow my bank account got reduced, my culture be endangered. Because mainstream get to try on my attitude, steal my face, and make all my Black woman trendy without giving a Black woman credit, but I showed up like I've been doing. Allow me to reintroduce myself to the anti-establishment. We be the blueprint, AKA Black women always will be and have been lit. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so I'm just like really actually sharing poems I haven't really shared a whole lot of, or this is like maybe a bigger audience for them in the times that we're in. Which, speaking of the times, right, I appreciate everyone who's tuning in. I get it. You know, the reason why we're having to do this virtually instead of a live space is because it's a goddamn pandemic. The goddamn coronavirus is out there. Okay, so while we are physically distancing, we are socially able to come together. And so I appreciate 100% everybody who's tuning in. Thank you to all the different performers. Like I said, thank you to Kind Clinic and Jomar for hosting. Jomar is my baby. Everybody know that, chat. Ain't no secret, but anyway. I have this poem that is new. And it makes me a little flustered to share it, but I'm gonna do it anyway, because you know that's just
new shit.
Okay, all right, okay. That's Joe that came in with the soundtrack of the new shit soundtrack for y'all. So How We Forget and is after Lois Gallo. She wrote a poem back in, I want to say 2015, 2016 called How We Forget. And what I've done is kind of put my own twist and spin on it of the COVID-19 files. And this is a way for me to acknowledge everyone, right? You know, this thing is not discriminating against nobody, you know what I mean? And so I want to make sure to highlight and also just give us permission to say like, yo, this really sucks. I make my living off of being able to perform, and I'm super thankful for moments like this, but I honestly feel like there is nothing better than being able to experience people in the same room. There's nothing like it. And so, yeah, it sucks. And I know that a lot of people probably are, feeling a lot of anxiety or maybe a lot of depression. And I just want to shed some light on that and give us some love in that area as well. We forget that everyone is essential, that there are no non-essential people, that even when everything shuts down, someone is still working to make sure we all don't give up. I don't know how many front lines make up for the front, but there's a whole lot of bodies trying not to give up. We forget that trauma is not always resilient. We forgot that the sound of sirens is still the soundtrack to the hood. And if you get out, this is still what it sounds like to be Black in the hood. Even before anyone ever mentioned racial disparities on the news, everything has been dying to live here. Some of us have to try harder than others. Salam AC says, maybe this is God's work. I talk to God so much, sometimes I have to go ahead and answer myself. We forgot to be patient. We forgot that God is love. We forget how to love. We forgot to patiently love ourselves. We forget we call people with mental illnesses crazy if they talk to themselves. We forget there is no one way to pray. We forget that some people only know one way to pray. We forgot what prayer can do with no poems like the back of our hands. We forget that some people have only ever had their hands in a poem acted as a prayer to save us. We forgot how to be gentle and human. We forget that the loom of suffering does not mean survival. Every day, we forget how to do something but still manage to be believers. We remember fight or flight, but somehow we forget that some people free. My friend Buddy says, he's not afraid to die. He just doesn't want it to hurt. But sometimes I don't know who I am without it. I am only ever sure of what's constant. One of my friends died during all of this. In this moment in time, one day she was here and the next day she wasn't. There were only 10 people allowed at the burial service, and I was one of the chosen, standing, socially freezing. What I mean is, I've gotten good at being by myself. I just don't want to die alone. We forget that some people have only ever felt alone. We forgot we need each other. We forget we are all essential, that there are no non-essential people. Distance does not always make the heart grow fonder. We forgot about skin hunger. We forgot that some of us are aching to be touched. It's been X amount of days since I gotten to see my partner's face. We forget how time works. We forgot that time doesn't measure how much you miss someone. All my body knows is that it needs its person. We forget that in this lifetime, there are people who have been waiting for what feels like an entire lifetime. I forgot that some people have savings. We forgot that some people had to deplete their entire savings and still have rent and school and bellies, and the bills come and don't stop coming. We forgot that some people still haven't caught up. We know that capitalism is king and elitists have power, but we forget to be grateful. We forget that being grateful and being satisfied are not synonymous. We forget that some people have only ever known the struggle. When people say it's hard out here, some of us are not making it up. We know how to make a way. Real niggas make do, but it's like that one poet says, if we're silent about our pain, they'll kill us and say we enjoyed it. So maybe we forgot to stay ready for what's been trying to kill us. We forget that some people aren't safe at home, but still stay home because they can't leave, and I haven't forgotten about them. I just remembered I don't know what more I can do. Sometimes I forget how good I got it. Oftentimes I forget to cry, mostly for me. Crying has never solved anything. I forget that softness is not a weakness, and crying doesn't have to cleanse everything. I forgot that I needed a break. If not for all of this, I would have just kept going despite myself. I forget I have needs, and one of them is being mindful of taking care of me, and I forgot how to be present. And being present and honest should not leave me stuck. I forgot how to celebrate my own self, even when no one can join me. I need to know who I am when no one is watching. Sometimes I think I wrote this poem because I'll never forget. Other times, I know I wrote this poem because of how easily we forget. That's my time right there. So thank you, Jomar.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. So you're taking this background out on your taxes, right? That's a workplace expense. Yeah.
You know, it might be a work expense. Where the receipt?
This is work. This is work. This is what you do for work. And sometimes it needs some sparkle.
I love this little sparkle.
You know? Yeah. For Halloween, wearing a wig, you know, like all of a sudden come on here. It's waterproof, all of it. All of it. How are you? What's going on? Yeah, tell us where you are, tell us what you're doing. How can these people see you, take you home? All of it.
Jomar is
What somebody said what? They talking in the background, child. We hearing a conversation going on that we ain't supposed to hear. Anyway, no.
My bad, y'all.
You good, baby. I'm actually doing really good. Today, I'll say that I've been prefacing it with today because you know, like tomorrow it might not be that, but today we're doing pretty good. I'll just say this: if anybody is looking to find me, just Google Ebony Stewart, EbonyStewart on Google, and all of the everything, the Twitter, the Instagram, the Facebook, all that stuff will show up. But also, if there's anybody interested in a curriculum, I also am trying to push this curriculum, the Homegirl Hood curriculum. It has TEKS and Common Core standards. So if you all are interested in all of that, please let me know. But yeah, baby, that's it. That's all I got. You better come on here with this book. You better come on.
It lives right there. So I was like, what's up?
Okay, see, now you got me being hood. So that's the limited edition, right? So this is what the regular schmegular stuff looks like. Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, that's about it, yo. I'm so appreciative. I'm so glad that I got this moment to see you, Jomar, and your lovely, lovely face. Look at you, sugar. How you been? Tell us.
Been all right. Been all right. She got a haircut, but it is getting long. It's getting long. I got all this fish now.
Okay, girl.
Yeah, I'm transforming my apartment into a Petco. It's not. I'm not. Watch people like parking over there. I gotta put a sign on my door, mask required. Anyway, that's life. That's life. Thank you for your poems.
Yes, thank you, dog.
Yes, thank you so much, Ebony. Y'all, every single person that has hit your screen, I'm trying to shift from the mindset of like the stage or whatever. But guess what? Your dining room table is now a stage, or wherever it is that you're watching. So yes, please follow all these people. Just to recap, we heard from Joe Anderson Jr., we heard from Moira, we heard from Jesus Valles, and we heard from Ebony Stewart. All these people have work that are published, posted somewhere. You can follow their social medias. The thing about artists is that we love to receive love, and that way we can give it back in the work that we create. So thank you all so much who joined today. Again, if you have not done so, please hit up Kind Clinic's Facebook page. Go to Say It Loud. The name of this event is Say It Loud. Go find that event. Go look for that Eventbrite and register and tell the peeps that you went and saw this show, because it's been amazing. I hope. I'm not hoping. I know for real. I'm not a liar. Gay people aren't allowed to lie. Yikes. Not during Pride Month. So I hope you all had a really, really good time. I got one more person to bring out and send us home at the end of this event. So again, thank you, Kind Clinic. Thank you, Say It Loud. Thank you, Joe Anderson Jr. And Jeremy is gonna come right back onto this screen to send us all off. Take it away, Jeremy.
Oh my goodness, how amazing was that? That was probably, let's just say I was over here writing down thoughts like I was an actual poet, but my artistry is photography, boo, so I gotta stay in my lane. Thank you all so much for watching. And like Jomar said, we are now creating spaces and stages in our own houses. So I'm so happy that you cleared the room for us. We appreciate you having us in your spaces. Please let Kind Clinic continue to allow space to be created for artists, for people to express themselves, and also come and join us in the sexual health revolution that we are trying to create here right now during a pandemic, no less, right? So make sure you visit kindclinic.org. And while you're there, go sign up for the newsletter. It's kindclinic.org/contact us, or you can just click contact us. It's much easier that way. I hope you all have an amazing night. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to do this again. Next time I might perform, don't hold me to it. That's all I'm gonna say now. Okay, producer, get me out of here.